just boom, in his garage. And he just sent it out and was like, what a cool message for the day.
Yeah.
So I screenshotted it.
Even in isolation.
Yes.
Things are blooming.
Yes.
For sure.
Cool, huh?
Okay. Thank you guys so much for joining Michelle and I today for Coffee Conversations with Chancey. We are very excited to have you. Again, I hope everybody is safe. I hope everybody is healthy. Michelle and I miss you like crazy. We cannot wait to get in front of you guys and have you guys in through the doors again, to see you, to be near you and a part of the community. So again, we miss you. We'll start with that. But today is all about Michelle, reigning from California. We are very excited that in the 90s that she decided, I don't even know if it was her decision, to pop up into the Oregon world. And you know, it's kind of a small world, and we're going to talk about that today. How people connect, right? Originally from Seattle, originally from Pasadena, and then we meet here in Oregon, and I couldn't be more blessed to have you in my life and a part of New Fitness, and she's a district manager for us, and it's just been a blessing working with Michelle. So we're gonna get to know Michelle today. We'll ask her some questions, and we're gonna kind of banter back and forth and have some fun. So how are you doing? How's your family doing during this pandemic?
I mean, I would say good because we're healthy, and that's what counts the most.
Yes.
So good. Clearly, everybody's affected in different ways, but
Absolutely.
Overall, we're healthy, and that's
good.
The best.
Good. So talk to me a little bit about that. Health is very important to you. What do you, if you can think of maybe one thing, or maybe you can shoot me a couple. What are some things that you're grateful for today?
Oh gosh. Well, this will sound crazy, but for some reason, for a long time, when I wake up and get up, I have long taken the mindset of I'm glad, I'm thankful, seriously thankful for that I see, that I hear, and that all my limbs, my extremities move.
Yes.
And so just actually that, because there are some people that we know that is not their case. And so I learned a long time ago, I can hear, I can see, I can move. I am so happy. I mean, literally I am.
That is great, because again, not everybody has that blessing. Not everybody comes back from, you know, I know you have, you know, sons that were in, you know, the military, and they don't always come back with all their extremities, and sometimes car accidents happen, sometimes people are just born that way, and very blessed to be able to do what we do every single day, you know, and being able to exercise with full function of everything. So I absolutely love that. Is there anybody, you know, friends, family, anybody on your mind maybe today that you're thinking about that, hey, you know what? I need to connect with them. And if there is somebody out there, why is that person your connection point for today?
So funny you say that. I actually have some seniors that I work with, and probably they're strongest on my mind. When I woke up today, I remember thinking, how do I help them? Because they're more into isolation and a little more fearful. So I actually reached out to a couple of them this morning, and we planned a little drive-in. So we're actually going to meet tomorrow, because it's sunny in the afternoon, and drive just our cars kind of in a circle.
That is so
and
cute.
I told them they could bring a lunch if they want, and so they could stay in their car. But I really want them to still connect.
Yes.
And see faces and hear voices, and so that happened to be what was on my mind this morning.
That is awesome. I love that idea. You know, anytime, because let's kind of piggyback on that. Anytime, I think this social distancing is incorrect. I've said that a few times. I think physical distancing is probably the correct terminology that should have been used. I think social connection is so important in any sort of level. You know, kind of hence why we're doing this kind of conversation.
I'm amazed they haven't made that change.
Yeah, I hope that they do. That they, you know, and one, I hope this doesn't last too much longer. And then two, you know, changing kind of the wording, because social connection is so important in my mind. And you've done such a great job on giving our members workouts, and you've been so fun. You know, this week you have a toilet paper workout. Please check it out this week. It's going to be awesome. So, you know, talk to me about why you think it's so important that we stay socially connected, not only inside the gym, but outside of here too as well.
Well, I mean, my understanding is it's just humanly necessary. I mean, we've all heard that in orphanages, babies literally die if they're not held and touched and rocked. And while we may be in grown bodies, I think our soul and spirit still needs the exact same thing. And, you know, that is a really difficult place. And I think of the isolation and confinement, if you will, is what we do to prisoners.
Yeah.
It's a form of torture.
Yeah.
Putting someone in isolation, and even militarily speaking. So it's clearly something that degrades everything,
Yes.
mental, physical. And
Yeah.
so
Well,
absolutely.
we get into these, routines of, I get to wake up and you have your gratitude and we're excited and then I get to leave.
Yes.
Right? It's not like, oh, I have to go to work or I have to do something. I think that's a mindset. You get to go
Yes.
to work every single
Yes.
day and you get to interact and you get to go to the grocery store and you get to interact
Yes.
and you get to go to the park and you get to interact and when that is stripped away from you, it is sometimes left a lot of people with this sense of feeling of, oh my gosh, like now I just have my own thoughts.
Despair.
Now I have despair, and I might be traveling towards this kind of maybe negativity or dark places, and people's state of, which is a real thing, depression and this feeling, and their outlet has been stripped.
Yep.
So maybe what. Do you know of anything that maybe you're currently doing to stay connected? I know that you do the videos for us on social media, which is fantastic again. We're going to continue to do conversations like these, to kind of at least entertain people, but is there any other way that you're finding where you can stay connected with people and breathe positivity and life into those conversations so people don't fall down this kind of negative, rabbit hole?
Yeah, it's interesting to say that because today I had one of my, a friend, and she's a member, and we've everybody sort of texts or makes posts or connects, and I just had it on my heart that I needed to go one step further. And you know how that is, you just sometimes get a feeling like somebody may not be okay. And so I just decided to call her. And I realized that we do a lot of this texting and this, but there's no actual even voice. It's just words that come across. And so I just told her, I said, hey, I just really wanted to call and reach out and make sure you're doing okay. And I said, and I haven't heard your voice. And it's just one step closer than just the texting.
Yeah.
So I do think I have chosen to make calls with certain people, just whoever comes across my heart. Because it's just a little bit more live.
Yeah. Well, and what a great point, because people not only on social media, but inside of your classes, when they're doing group exercise, they get to see you and hear you and feel you in that energy, and those text messages aren't even probably tapping the source of love and affection
and energy and
gratitude and energy into a text message. So I think that's a really good point for our listeners to understand is texting, yes, is great probably for, majority of people, but some of those ones where you might just, if you feel like at any point, God, I should reach out, you should reach out.
Absolutely.
You should reach out, you should call, because even if you leave a voicemail, at least they got to hear your voice and they got to hear that you care. So I think that's a really good point.
Yes. Well, I mean, if you think about it, there is even phone therapy, so to speak, and so it's clearly a step above just typing. That's still a very alone kind of activity.
So we're having to be, alone a lot, and you and I are kind of doing, videos and staying, moving and exercising. Is there anything else that you're doing outside the videos that you're providing us to kind of keep your body moving and, stay in phenomenal shape, which is what you are? So is there anything that you could maybe share some nuggets of wisdom out there for anybody? Because yes, follow her videos and follow us online, but also if there's anything that you do, I do a lot of for example, foam rolling. I'll grab a lacrosse ball. I'll do a lot of kind of more corrective exercise stuff off camera, which maybe I should pop onto on camera. Band work, just these little things to kind of keep the little muscles triggering and firing, and some things that my joints are anything piriformis or sciatic that starts to kind of tweak up. I want to make sure I attack that on point to make sure I stay moving and pain-free. So is there anything that you do kind of above and beyond the videos that you do?
It is funny you say that because I have noticed that this has actually been a really good recovery time. And things that I was, sort of battling when I was teaching full load, now are starting to feel better. And I actually also did a foam roller, been doing a little bit of that and spending a little more time for myself with that recovery care,
Yeah.
like that I generally don't. So yes. And then I would say, to be honest, for me, I haven't added additional. Could I jog? Yes. I keep saying I'm going to go hike. Of course, our weather wasn't good. I will now. But for me, I feel like I shifted to addressing mentally. So
Yeah.
physically, I'm very capable of staying on task. And so like you say, being completely pulled out of my schedule where I thrive, took me back for a couple days. I kind of was surprised to see that I had a little bit of a struggle. So I have chosen to engage mentally, webinars, education, and what's funny is it's the same like we're talking about. There's plenty of things to read. I'm drawn toward the webinars and the live teaching because I'm hearing people and I'm seeing the interaction, the live interaction. So it's really interesting how I'm looking for that in different ways. But I really like keeping the mind stimulated because I think if the mind's good, everything else will be good. You know?
Oh yeah.
When the mind's not, doesn't matter.
We're physically fit, and again, it's kind of like an iceberg. Like our physical is this tip, and our mind is the biggest chunk underneath that water, which controls everything. And I'm a huge journaler. I don't know about yourself, and I'll ask you in a second. I love to journal. I journal in the morning. I journal in the evening. I'll do some meditation. I'll get my mind right before I head to work, or whatever I do these days. And then at the end of the day, I'll kind of how did my day go? Where was my mindset? Did I stay on task and on course? Do you journal at all, or is that something that you've ever thought about doing? Some of our members kind of say, I've thought about doing it. I don't know how to start. So last Sunday, we started kind of journaling together on Sundays.
Oh, that's very cool.
And kind of giving them tips. So I didn't know if that's something that you ever got into or had any interest?
So I would say the majority of my life I didn't. I had several journals, and like many people, I would be like, oh, I'm going to do this, and I would start, and it'd be blank, and then I'd have a new journal because somehow a new one was going to make me do it. And so I have all these journals with like the first few pages.
Yeah, me too.
And then unfortunately we went through a very serious tragedy, and what I learned in that is I'm not good at talking it out with people.
Yeah.
I tend to be very private with tough feelings and hard stuff. Didn't really know that, but it was critical that I journaled because anything we go through is pulling it out and getting it outside of us. I mean, the things that hurt us are the things left unsaid and kept in the dark. And so I became a huge journaler. And a funny thing that happened for me, no idea why, for some reason I started writing poetry about my expression. And I'm so not, I'm tomboy all the way, brothers, military dad, sons, like I am not girly girl, not craftsy, not any of that. And for a while, I don't know why, they just kind of flowed in poems. I'm really not doing that now. But that launched a big understanding of the value of journaling.
Yeah.
And
I
so
think
I
think that's important for people to realize is not everybody has to do something one way. For me, journaling works great. For you, journaling works great. For me, I don't mind speaking, to my partner about, kind of what's going on in my life or at home or at work or stresses or happinesses. I don't mind communicating. For you, you might say, hey, I would rather write it down than express it, verbally, or even to, sometimes people are like, oh, we'll just go to therapy. And it's like, that doesn't, that might not work for everybody. And one way doesn't work the same for every single person. So you have to find what works best for you because that's what you're going to stick to.
Exactly.
Just like with exercise, find what works well for you. Group exercise, I love it. I can stick to that. Great. I love tribe. Great, do it. I love one-on-one training. Do it. I love swimming. Okay, whatever you can do and stick to, do that. Because if you can't, then you set yourself up for failure.
Exactly.
And when you feel like you fail at something, you don't want to do it again.
Of course.
You don't want to keep going back to, let's say, that therapist if people are telling you to go speak out loud to somebody. Like, that's just not working. So why jam a square peg into a round hole?
Right.
It's just not working out and going very well. So, I appreciate, you sharing that with us because, again, that's something that, I missed talking with a few other people, which is do what works best for
Right.
you. And, you know, for myself, again, with journaling, I know, you know, Erin, Jessica as well, and a few people that I've had conversations with, they just love, you know, to journal, and I forgot to kind of ask that follow-up. And
Yeah, it's really interesting because you say everyone's different.
Yeah.
My husband and I, in that regard, are polar opposites, and he, in hard times and in processing pain, leans into people and needs people, and I'm the opposite.
Yeah.
I need to go, I think of myself like a little wounded animal. I mean, I really have to go off myself, but not in a bad way.
Yeah.
That's where I do what I need to do. And it's just interesting because just what you say, you have to find your own. And so initially I got a lot of flack for, you know, that I'm not talking or I'm not willing to, and I tried to force myself because we sometimes succumb to other people's expectations of us.
Absolutely.
And after a while, I had to become a fighter to say exactly what you said. No, that way is not my way. And only we can choose the path to our best health.
Yes.
And so we have to be willing to disregard society's
Yeah,
expectations
yeah.
or
And
other
not be,
people's expectations.
and not be afraid to say no.
This is what works for me.
Exactly. Because again, a lot of people will, and I've obviously fallen to it hundreds of times, you know, growing up, and we all do. I'm sure there's tons of listeners out there going, God, yeah, they really wanted me to journal. And they might think, Chancey and Erin, journaling is great, Michelle does journaling and I should journal. Like, no, we're not saying that. We're saying, you know, these things, try it, because you just never know, right?
Right.
And speaking out loud to people, you go, okay, well, that doesn't work for me. Let me throw that into the, you know, into the, you know, kind of dumpster. But this works really well, so we stick with it. So, you know, for you guys out there, try it, because, okay, you just never know until you try it. And if it doesn't work for you, then you don't have to do it. Like, you don't have to do it. And if journaling doesn't work, you don't have to do it. If talking out loud works better for you, talk out loud with people. Call Michelle, call me. We will talk you through anything.
What's phenomenal though about journaling, and you can only, you know, I stumbled upon it, was that when you go through a period of time or just whatever phase of your life, but when you look back and reflect, you learn so much more just from looking back. And we're not going to recall all those things we thought. We just aren't. And so it's really interesting. It's almost a marker of growth, or sometimes to it even, you might go back to something in your journal and it helps you for that moment.
Yes.
And so it's like having these nuggets that you can draw from. And I find it really interesting when I've looked at old ones, even though there's only a few pages in each one, but just where I was. And it's so different, and it's really cool to just see the journey, you know, even the journey of the mind and the mind
Kind of your own mentor, your own teacher, because you can go back and reflect and go, oh, I did have a tough time like that.
Yes.
Here's what I did to go through it. I remember those things didn't go well, and these went really well. Okay, I'm going to apply that to this situation. Oh, God, this is fantastic. Thank you so much for, you know, expressing all of this, you know, really deep stuff, because sometimes we will hit surface level, and I love when we can get, you know, lots of layers deep into kind of those subconscious why, you know, we do things. So thank you very much. Well, let's end on some fun stuff for our viewers, and I got some, you know, kind of quirky, fun questions for you. So whatever comes to mind, you just say it out loud. What is your, and see, we don't know because Michelle can play video games. What's your favorite video game or Netflix kind of crush right now? What's your guilty pleasure?
So I'm a complete failure at video games. And my boys tried to teach me, and probably at times when we were stuck in the snowstorms. And instead of getting the object on the screen to move, I would move. And they just finally took it out of my hands and said, forget it, Mom.
You've had enough.
So, gave up. Don't quit on things, but I did. Netflix, I like actually NCIS.
Yeah.
I love anything that's intriguing mentally, that I'm trying to solve it or trying to. So some of the NCISs I like. That's probably.
There's been some actually. I'll have to forward them to you. Some really cool games, kind of like Clue, real life solve mysteries, solve crimes, board games that I've seen all over the place. I'll have to send them to you and see if you like that one. If you have a cheat meal, what is it? Or a cheat something, right? I'm a sweets fan.
Me too. That's what I was gonna say.
Cookies.
Cheat meal for me would be sweets, baby.
Yeah. Anything in particular? My fiance's a cheesecake fan.
So I would love all those, but a few years ago I stopped being able to have dairy, and that has been a sad game changer. But I will say I have found some amazing vegan, and I stumbled across a piece of cake in Selwood, and I don't know if I should even tell you. So I had just come
Don't be
through
greedy. Don't hoard this information.
Months of no, I can't have it. No, I can't have it. No, I can't have it. I'm ashamed to tell you this, but so I walked in and they had the most amazing like red velvet cupcake, chocolate peanut butter. I'm a peanut butter fan. And it was real peanut butter round up on the top. And so I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm not going to come here often, so I think I better get a number of them. And so I must have bought 6, thinking I'm going to cut them in half, have people over share them. Oh my God. I must have ate at least 3.5 all by myself. Super big stomach ache. Haven't gone back. So good.
Over in Selwood, we'll have to check that out.
My thing is, and everybody's different, I cannot bring it into my home and then not eat it.
Yep.
I wish I had that willpower, I don't. So I don't bring it in my home. I have to bring individual treats. But yes, that'd be mine. Yum.
You portion control
Cake
yourself.
or some chocolatey peanut buttery bar. Totally.
Okay, good to know if you bring
And
that.
French fries.
Ooh. Okay, so opposite. So now we go on that savory salt. So are you the person who gets French fries from like Wendy's, for example, or wherever, and dips it into their ice cream or into their...
No.
What?
No.
Well, you don't want to
But
mix
ketchup
the
is
flavors.
sweet.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Ketchup has sugar.
Yes, it does.
So in a
So I could
sense,
see
I
that.
do the ketchup and then Tabasco. Mix it up. Or buy the jalapeno ketchup.
Yeah, that's Southern California again. Everything's kind of spicy.
That's true.
Do you have a favorite superhero or somebody who you grew up with who was kind of a hero to you? Why might they be your favorite? You know, we got Wonder Woman, we got Superman, we got all this Marvel stuff, you know, Iron Man and the Hulk. Is there anybody out there that you kind of look and say, oh, yeah, I like them?
I probably don't have a good answer on this because 2 things come to my mind, and the first you're going to laugh because it's not a superhero. But for some reason, my favorite cartoon when I was a kid was Casper, the Friendly Ghost. And Casper's doughy, soft, like nothing strength. I loved how he was so kind and caring to everybody instead of this monster that brought fear. And so I know this is so cheesy.
That is great.
I loved Casper because he made everybody happy.
Yes.
And he would go into any situation and make everybody happy. So I know that's so corny.
No, that's
And then it would be, I loved Bionic Woman.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to have power.
Yes.
Power.
Strong.
Run
female,
fast, jump
dominant.
high,
Yes.
dominate.
Dominate.
Yeah. And I
Absolutely.
do think in some ways it's one reason why I love, strength training, weightlifting, building, that feeling of having some power and having strength and at least the ability to care for ourselves, defend ourselves.
Well, if you guys don't know Michelle, the combination of both of those two is exactly her. She is the friendliest, most caring, giving woman I have ever met. Extremely strong, extremely dominant when you're controlling your class. She's phenomenal. So I'm glad we were able to obviously get to know her today. Okay, one more question for you. What is your most favorite thing about being a mom?
Oh man, I think that's impossible to put into one thing. But I happen to have sons, and most people know there is a mother-son bond, like a daddy-daughter bond, a mother-son bond, and the love that is generated between a son and a mom is like nothing I've ever experienced, and it is a joy I couldn't even describe. Boys have an extreme desire to protect their mom and to love the mom and care for mom. And I am not I don't see myself as like a needy mom, and I never want my kids to feel responsible for me. No. So I feel like I generally portray I'm fine. Like I am. But they just have this way of stepping back and assessing, the day, and then coming alongside and just bringing a hug or a word or something.
Yeah.
And it's just funny to me how they just, the bond between the mom and the son is just, it's almost indescribable, and absolutely adore it.
Well, if they're out there, they might forward this to them and send something to them. So if you want to say something to them, to your boys right now, you sure can. Tell them how much you love them, and then we'll sign off after you're done. So if you want to say something to your boys and you want to share this video, you sure can.
I do tell them every day, text them every day, but there really aren't words, and it's true, there aren't words to convey the depth and breadth of the love that a mom has in the heart. But whatever all I have, it is all yours.
Well, you guys have a very special woman as your mother. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Again, be safe, be healthy, keep your physical distancing, but not your social distancing. Stay connected. Please let us know if you guys need anything. We're going to reach out to you as well. We miss you like crazy.
Yes.
We can't wait to
It'll
see
be
you.
soon.
Yes,
It'll
it's
be
coming.
soon.
We all know that it is coming.
Yep.
So thank you guys again. We will talk to you soon.
Love ya.